Okay, sorry. I want to split these up so they're not too long. Also, I forgot to mention, I kept having money stolen from me. These people that they would place in my life would ask to borrow my money from my disability back pay when I finally got it. I think they only gave it to me because of my hip replacement and my leg. Because the judge asked me what kind of videos do I watch on YouTube, because she knows I spend time playing video games and watching YouTube, and I said aliens, and I was big into the alien conspiracies. Now I know they're not real. Because of the times I've been drugged and abducted, I thought they were aliens. I will get into that too. There's a lot of my story I skipped over. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not very good at speaking or making videos, but I feel this is very important for me to do. So, before I took off and left Illinois for good, for fear of my life, I actually called the police because my apartment was broken into numerous times. When I left for Florida, they broke in and stole some evidence I had against them, and my GPS's charging cable. They stole both of those. And there's also been a couple times where I was just drinking some beer, and then I would have missing time, like they put drugs in my beer or something, and I don't remember going to sleep. I don't remember doing anything. I would just wake up, placed in a chair in the kitchen, naked, and my clothes would be in a pile in the living room. So in order for me to do that with my bad leg at the time, because I needed assistance with walking, I would have to drink beer, get up, get naked, put my clothes in a pile in the living room, take my computer chair, roll it all the way into the kitchen, sit in it, turn off all the lights, and go to sleep. So I knew somebody was stripping me naked and drugging me, and I would wake up like that. On top of things being stolen. So in Ottawa, Illinois, I called the police department, and they came there, and I had a smartphone. I recorded the conversation, but because of the hacking, I lost it, unfortunately. But when the police came to the apartment, they said, yeah, beer doesn't make you do that, black out and get naked and move chairs around and all that. And I said, yeah, no, I was drugged. And they agreed. It was about an hour-long conversation I had with these police. I was very hesitant to tell them before they left that I'm also being hit with directed energy weapons, I told them. And do you know what that officer said? One of the two officers looked at me and he said, microwaves, right? And I was in shock. I said, how did you know? And he said, well, if it's the government doing it, we can't help you. That's what he left me with. But in Ottawa, Illinois, there was also the police officer said, if they use EMPs and stuff like that on you, we can't do anything about it. And at that time, no one ever used an EMP on me. So I thought it was strange, because the next day, I told my ex-girlfriend / roommate that I'm going to go find some free Wi-Fi where I don't get hacked and try to make a YouTube video. So she said there's free Wi-Fi at McDonald's. I said I'm not going there because they probably just heard you say that. So I didn't tell anybody where I was going, and I drove to the park to see if there was any signals at the park. Well, when I got to the park, there was a van there with writing all over it. There was writing all over the van, and I was like, shit, I guess they want me to talk to this guy. And sure enough, he was a strange guy. He was a perp. There was rumors going around town the guy was a sex offender. And he had writing all over his van about things about his life. So I thought to myself, it gave me an idea in my head, maybe I should write my situation on my vehicle. Kind of like the targeted individual had on YouTube had some writing on his car. So I did that, and it got me in even more hot water. People thought I was mental, writing on my truck, but I was being hacked. I couldn't make a YouTube video. But when I was at the park, I was trying to film this perp and his van with the writing all over it. My phone was at 100%, and immediately they killed the battery. I hopped back in my vehicle to charge it. I would charge it up a little bit, come out, try to film this guy's van with the writing on it, and him again. I assume they're EMPing me. I assume that's what it is. The battery instantly got killed again. I gave up. I ordered some spy glasses, the spy camera glasses online. They came within a couple days. I went back out. I tried filming again. I'd wear them into stores. I'd wear them everywhere to try to film these gang stalkers, and they would kill my batteries, or they would corrupt the video files on the sunglasses. Even the video files would get cut off, and they wouldn't play. There was no way to make them work. I tried just about everything, They started EMPing my phone when I used the Gauss meter and the EMF apps inside my apartment before turning on the device in the apartment above me. Okay, I guess I will leave it at that with the Illinois thing. So I packed up the bare minimum. I threw what I could in my vehicle, and I took off in fear for my life. And I had no place to go, so I drove all the way to Texas to see Dr. John Hall. Just like when I went to Florida, I was followed all the way to Florida. I was followed to Texas as well. I lived in the parking lot of the hospital that I worked at for 3 days. He said he was on vacation. I emailed him. There was nothing I could do to see him. I tried leaving evidence for him with the security guard that worked at the hospital. She would not take the hard disks and some of the information I had to give to him, even though he said they would. I was hit with these masers in Texas. There was vehicles parked in the parking lot there that were equipped with these weapons. I parked by a dumpster one night, and they were doing something to my head, cooking my head where air would be pushed out the corners of my eyes. And I heard a man laughing from the field across by the dumpster at Dr. John Hall's hospital, and he would say things like, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that?" after they would make air come out of my eye sockets. They were commenting on what they were doing to me. And also I picked it up with my RF detector, so I moved to the other side of the parking lot, but then there was masers there. At that point, I was getting some gang stalkers coming up to me and saying things about what was written on my truck, my situation. So I went to an AutoZone and I bought some black spray paint. I blacked everything out on my vehicle that I'd wrote so no one could read it. I stuck a piece of paper on the back that simply stated, I'm being stalked by the government with directed energy weapons / microwaves, and I believe the FBI is responsible. In my travels, I got pulled over by a police for a moving violation, and there was 2 officers at the scene, and they were speaking amongst themselves, and he said, "Did you see that letter on the back of his vehicle that said he's being stalked by the government?" I think he's not lying, because about a mile behind him there were 3 black SUVs with tinted windows following him. So the police once again confirmed what was happening to me during the traffic stop when they stopped me. Eventually I threw out all my electronics and I started asking for directions. I wanted to get to New Jersey. My mother said I can come stay with her. My mother acted like she believed me on the phone, and acted nice to me. So I was going from Texas to New Jersey without a GPS, and every time I stopped and asked for directions, they would give me the wrong directions. Now, previously, I had told a gang stalker there's laws against electromagnetic weapons in Michigan and I might go there. Well, I was trying to get from Texas to New Jersey, and I asked for directions about 10 times because I kept getting off course, and I wound up in Michigan. Yeah, they gave me directions that fucked me up so bad I wound up in Michigan, and it still happened there. So, any targeted individuals who think it might be better in Michigan, it's not, okay? It's not. So I get back to New Jersey, and as soon as I get back in New Jersey, the second day there, I still have all my stuff, all my belongings that I had left in the bed of my pickup truck. It hadn't rained yet, and I want to unload them. My mother called a social worker, pretty much told them that I'm being microwaved. I'm claiming that I'm being microwaved, and there's something wrong with me. And I spent 3 months in psychiatric care, and they wouldn't let me leave for 3 months. I never tried to kill anybody, and I didn't try to hurt myself. But they would not let me go. I was also stalked within the mental health facilities that I spent those 3 months in. There was one person in the first place that I spent about a month at who came up to me and mentioned that people are using electromagnetic weapons on him. He came up to me and said that. Then started saying nonsense about being attacked by fuzz bugs. That's what he said. Another mental health facility that I wound up at had NSA crimes carved into the chairs in one of the main rooms. Someone had carved NSA crimes into it. One gang stalker that had infiltrated my life and became a fake friend to harass me told me it was the NSA doing it. So there twice I was told it is the NSA. I have no proof of that, but here I am in New Jersey now. I just got my hip replaced. My mother is threatening to call social workers, even though I haven't spoke about being a targeted individual to her. But she was in my room screaming at me, because she's always screaming. It's almost like she's mind controlled to harass me. And at the same moment she was doing that in my room, my screen of my computer started flickering by itself and doing things. And I said, "Look, I'm being hacked." And right away she said, "You're blaming the government on hacking you. I'm going to call the social worker." She's always threatening to call the social workers on me. Right now I'm looking for another place to move. I have a couple weeks of recovery to go so that I can move what little belongings I have left to somewhere else. I'm not staying in New Jersey because I can't afford it. This is basically the gist of my story. I might come back and add more later. Oh yes, also when my money was being stolen from my debit card, I had requested my my balance and my summary for the past couple months, and they would send me 2 pages, and it would say pages 1 of 3 and pages 1 of 1. So 1 of 1 and 1 of 3 would be 13. 13 is motorcycle accident in the outlaw biker code, which my father died in a motorcycle accident and he was an outlaw biker. They were putting 13 everywhere, mocking me with that. In Texas, I saw a black SUV with the license plate 666. I also saw a black SUV with the license plate 666 in Ottawa, Illinois. Also, there was a license plate that said KKK Kids. Also, one that said Jesuits on it. Jesuits. They are mocking me with license plates, hacking me. They were breaking into my apartment and drugging me, stripping me nude. One time when I woke up, I hate to say it, but my asshole hurt. And I actually went to the emergency room and had them look at my asshole. They said it was a hemorrhoid. I've never felt a large, hard bump in my anus before, and to this day, I do believe that that something happened to me that night. But I always, from everything that's happened to me, I would have accepted the bipolar diagnosis if it had not been these gang stalkers coming up to me and mentioning my mental health to me, to my face, talking about the medication I'm on, and taunting me. I realized even if it is possible that I have bipolar disorder, when my mother put me in this mental health facility, they tried saying I have schizophrenia. Now, I do not have schizophrenia. I can assure you that. But this is causing me a lot of turmoil and depression. But I'm not suicidal. I never will be suicidal again, because now I want to live to see this through. And I'm not homicidal. So, there's no reason for me to go back to one of these facilities. I'm sorry for leaving things out of the story and backtracking, but there's just so much for me to talk about. Okay, I guess that's about it. I'm gonna upload this, and if I remember anything else, I'll add it later.